Thank you, Governor Reynold, for allowing me to participate in today's daily update to Iowans. On behalf of Iowa's judicial branch, we too extend our heartfelt thoughts and prayers with the families from Iowa who have been directly affected by COVID-19. We appreciate the sincere dedication of the Governor's Office and the Iowa Department of Public Health to remind all Iowans what can be done to mitigate the spread of COVID-19. The judicial branch joins the Governor in her battle cry: wash your hands, frequently cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze, and stay home if you can. I'm following your guidelines, Governor. Welcome to my home. Courthouses in all 99 counties are an integral part of each community. Iowans are used to heading there to renew their driver's license, file a quitclaim deed, show up for jury duty, or maybe even something as simple as paying a parking fine. In less than 2 weeks, the judicial branch has had to combat COVID-19's attempt to cripple how we achieve justice. In spite of these challenges, Iowa's courts are stalwartly committed to making sure essential services remain in place during this crisis. Let me share some examples of what the judicial branch did over a 5-day period to mitigate the spread of this virus in Iowa's busy courthouses and courtrooms. Our first order was entered March 12th and outlined procedures to be followed, such as parties notifying each other if they weren't feeling well, and to consider remote participation in hearings. This next point was particularly noteworthy. A person with something as simple as a runny nose or a cough was no longer allowed to attend in person. A similar order was entered the next day regarding juvenile court. Entering those two orders back-to-back was significant. Looking in the rearview mirror, we were only tiptoeing into uncharted territory. For the third day in a row, on March 14th, another supervisory order was entered. This one had more teeth. In a nutshell, we continued all criminal jury trials and grand jury proceedings to at least April 20th. And we continued all civil jury trials to at least May 4th. At that point, non-jury civil trials and hearings were going forward as scheduled. In juvenile cases and problem-solving courts, we encouraged our judges to conduct those hearings remotely. For our appellate court, we ordered that there would be no in-person oral argument through May 15th. 2 days later, we entered our fourth supervisory order, which lifted the cap on the number of online classes lawyers can take for continuing education. The very next day, March 17th, it became clear that we had quickly moved from tiptoeing to downright stomping into this uncharted territory. I reconvened the same small group of people who gathered only 3 days earlier at the Judicial Branch building. But this time, we were committed to this new thing called social distancing. Thus, our fifth supervisory order was created remotely, and it packed a punch. Here are a few things addressed in that order. All criminal trials, jury and non-jury, were continued. Initial appearances and bond reviews were to be held remotely. And we extended the 45-day speedy indictment deadline to 60 days. In civil cases, all civil trials, jury and non-jury, were continued. Forcible entry and detainer cases were continued or ordered to be held remotely. If something could not be held remotely, the only in-person matters would be emergency proceedings, such as protective orders for domestic abuse or elder abuse, treatment for substance abuse, mental health hospitalization, protective removals of children, or anything else considered an emergency by the court. In spite of these unprecedented measures, I want you to know Iowa's judicial branch is open for emergencies and essential cases. Every day, even now, there are judges, clerks, court reporters, court administration, and other branch employees working in new and unique ways to serve Iowans. But we cannot do this alone. Iowa's Department of Human Services has been working closely with us to ensure the safety and welfare of children and to provide their families with the support and assistance they need to maintain vital connections. We're also working with the Department of Corrections and law enforcement services across the state to implement measures to minimize the harm inflicted by COVID-19 on our incarcerated population, as well as the staff who work in those facilities. The County Board of Supervisors across the state has worked with the judicial branch to ensure that our courthouses can remain open to the fullest extent possible. For anyone needing an in-person access to our courthouses, the judicial branch, please call in advance of your visit. Phone numbers for each county's clerk of court are posted on most courthouse doors, or you can also find it on the judicial branch's website, iowacourts.gov. Much of the information I have provided today can be found on our weekly summary, which is posted on the same website in our special section devoted to COVID-19. When COVID-19 started to rear its ugly head in Iowa, I urged our judicial branch employees and lawyers to not panic. And I reminded them, we are all in this together. In an effort to provide everyone an opportunity to share their comments or concerns, I invited them to send an email to my senior law clerk, Anna. People took advantage of this, and as a result, we learned a lot. And it has been a useful tool when making critical decisions on behalf of the judicial branch. I have nicknamed that idea Ask Anna. You can find a link to Anna's email address on our weekly COVID-19 summary on the judicial website. In closing, as Chief Justice of the Iowa Supreme Court, I am constantly monitoring these changing events. The judicial branch will keep all Iowans informed on our website as significant decisions are made. Once again, that's iowacourts.gov. Please pay particular attention to a special section devoted to COVID-19. Access to justice may look a little different right now, and it may require a bit more patience, but it will not succumb to COVID-19. Thank you again, Governor, for this opportunity to provide Iowans with information about the judicial branch's response to this pandemic. We appreciate the opportunity to maintain communications with your office and Iowans on these very important issues.